Do you want to know how to improve every relationship in your life? Listen. Spend more time listening. But listening is very specific. So sometimes we listen, but we don't hear a thing. For example, have you ever been talking to someone and you can tell they're distracted and they really don't hear anything you're saying? Think about how that makes you feel. There are things that we think to ourselves when someone's not listening. For example, they don't care about what I'm saying. I'm not important. Or maybe even they're rude. So here are the 5 levels, and then I'm going to tell you which levels that you need to spend the most of your time in to truly impact your relationships. Levels 1 through 4 is where we spend the majority of our time, and level 5 is the one that's really going to make the greatest amount of impact. Starting with level 1. Level 1 is ignoring, not listening at all. This can be intentional or not intentional. Either way, there's no communication, nothing's being heard. Level 2 is pretending. A lot of people do this. Someone's talking to you and you're saying, yeah, right. Really not hearing anything that's being said, but you're responding. Level 3 is selective listening. That means you're listening for something specific or you're only hearing a portion of what's being said. That's also highly common. Level 4 is where we get a little bit more productive in our listening. That's where you're actively listening with attentiveness. So when someone's telling you something, you're listening not to hear or respond, you're listening to understand what's being said. So for example, someone comes to you and says, you know what, I'm really angry about this thing that someone said to me. Instead of responding with, oh my gosh, what a jerk, what did they say? You respond by saying, you know what, I really hear that you were upset by something. Tell me more, what's going on? And you're listening to hear and understand. Level 5 is called empathetic listening. That's where you're listening not just to the words that are coming out of the person's mouth, but to everything about what's happening. Their body language, their energy, their facial expressions. So empathetic listening is listening not from your perspective, but from the perspective of actually being in their shoes, feeling what it is that they're feeling, and then empathizing and understanding from there. So few people have the opportunity for someone to listen empathetically to them and not listen with any judgment or any attachment to the outcome at all. So I want you to think for a moment, when you spend the majority of your day, whether you're attentively listening or not, someone comes up to you, what do you typically do in a listening response? Of course, it depends on what it is that they're going to say to you. That will affect the way you listen. But pay attention to the people in your life and when they're coming to you and what they really need. Because chances are they don't need you to say what you think. They need you to hear what they're saying. So give it a try. I guarantee it will improve all of your relationships.